What's up everyone, I'm the Ans3 bringing you some gameplay from Assassin's Creed Revelations, and I'm also going to share my thoughts on Assassin's Creed 3. So first of all, I just wanted to show this game that I got into. I came out in first place, and all I had to do was just use Mute and Poison. And my best strategy for that is to just use those two abilities and you'll get a lot more points than anyone else. Also, I hate when that crap happens where someone just throws a smoke bomb down on the ground and then you just get stunned easily. I really hope that they fix that. This will also contain spoilers, and if you don't want to hear any spoilers, then you should just go ahead and watch the video anyway. And anyways, it starts off where Desmond wakes up from his coma and he reunites with Sean, Rebecca, and his father, William. They arrive at the Grand Temple, or most people will call it the Central Vault, and they are ambushed by the Templars that are led by Daniel Cross. And Cross is the character that appears at the end of the multiplayer when you reach level 50, and there's also another background for him, and it's in one of the Assassin's Creed comics, but we'll just get to that later. So they have come for William, and where they just basically just run off with him after they captured him, and Desmond decides that before he can go any further he needs to rescue his father and just stop the Templars from controlling the world. So to do that he'll need the help of Connor Kenway, the main character of Assassin's Creed 3, and he'll have to do like he did with Ezio by just retracing his steps and pretty much learning stuff that happened during the Revolutionary War and a lot of other secrets behind the assassins and the Templars themselves. It is said that there's a point where Connor enters the vault and he ends up witnessing something, and Desmond wants to know what it is that Connor saw or what it is that he will be expecting. So at this point, Desmond ends up using the new Animus 3.0, and in my opinion, I think that how it works is that after what happened in Revelations where 16 did something to Desmond, I think what he did was that he basically made Desmond a part of the Animus, and Desmond was able to control the Animus with his own mind or whatever, and there'll pretty much be like at some point where Desmond needs to find a place to sit down and then just look into a memory or whatever. It will be a little something like Assassin's Creed 1 where you enter a memory and then as soon as you're finished with that memory you just go back and play as Desmond. The only difference is that you're not just walking around just looking at stuff on walls and then just looking into computer files or whatever. This time you get to play a lot as Desmond, and I'm just hoping that when you finish the game you still get to play as him or anything like that. Now for Connor, he starts off as Ezio did in Assassin's Creed 2, where he's just young, he's just learning a little bit of life, and he's also learning a little bit of his inheritance or heritage of being a Native American Mohawk. But it is said that the colonists invade his home, and his parents, his whole family dies right in front of him. But what I really think that happens is that the Templars show up and they're just spreading their rules around like they usually do in the past Assassin's Creed games, and they just pretty much got Connor's family involved in it and then just killed them for absolute no reason. But luckily Connor's is founded by the Assassins of America, and they decide to recruit him and they train him majority of his life to become an assassin. And from what we've seen with all the gameplays, trailers and everything, he is pretty much 10 times better than Altair and Ezio put together. So for the remainder of the story, Connor will meet historical figures like Ben Franklin, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, etc. And he'll just be killing Templars, which is nothing new because in the past Assassin's Creed games that's all you ever did was just kill Templars, but the only difference is that this time it looks a lot better and a lot more exciting. And as for Desmond, there hasn't been anything released on him, no trailers or anything, and there probably never will be. But hopefully when the game comes out we'll finally get to know what will happen to him or what is to become of him. So that's it for the story mode part. Now for gameplay, Connor is a dual wielding specialist and he's able to use two weapons at the same time, where Altair and Ezio were only able to just use one weapon one at a time. And it really looks a lot better because Connor can just use multiple weapons and kill like 10 enemies in less than 20 seconds, which I think might be the best part of the whole game. And just like Brotherhood and Revelations, Connor can recruit people to join the Assassins, but this time they will not only do the killing for him, they will also disguise themselves as enemies and help Connor get into heavily guarded areas. And this is a lot better than what you would usually do in past Assassin's Creed games, like just fight your way through. And I think this is like way better than doing that. And they might also be doing a lot more than that, but they haven't shown anything yet. And this time you might also be able to recruit more assassins than a certain amount. Like in Revelations you can only recruit 10, and Brotherhood you can only recruit like 9 or something. I don't really know, but you might also recruit a lot more than that. And they're bringing back the leveling progression for them too, where you send the assassins on missions and they earn XP to level up and become a lot more skillful. But there might be a lot more leveling, probably like to 20 this time, because Revelations had 15. And you might also do some missions with certain members that you recruited. And later in the story, Connor becomes the captain of a ship, and it's really good to know about this because Connor is able to use a ship and a crew to participate in naval battles. In my opinion, I think that this is really epic for the whole game, because when you go out to sea, you end up battling multiple ships all at the same time. But it really makes it like a Pirates of the Caribbean theme, and it looks like it's always going to be fun. You can never get bored with that. I just cannot wait to try that, and I'm pretty sure everybody else can't wait either. So that's about it for the gameplay. Now for multiplayer, they're bringing that back, and this time it looks like it's a lot more fun. But in my opinion, it looks like there's going to be a few things that will be hard to work with and might be a little frustrating for others. Like, for example, there's an ability that turns you invisible, and I think a lot of people might use this too much because it will help them get kills faster and will make it easier to outrun their pursuers. But I kind of think that this might be overused a lot. But the good news is that if someone is using it and they blend in with another crowd, it automatically disables itself. So that kind of shows that Ubisoft is trying to balance the whole thing out. They are also taking out some abilities, but they are combining other abilities as well, like the hidden gun and the poison. They've combined that to make the poison darts. But what I'm just wondering is that if there's going to be like its own set score. Like in the previous games, poison was like an additional 200 points if you use it on your targets. But if you're using it from a distance, would that make it like an additional 200 points as well, or would they happen to like make it at least 150 or an additional 100? What I'm just hoping is that they don't make it too much where everybody will also be using that a lot, and it would not be fair to the other players that are trying to compete and want to win. But hopefully they balance that out too. Now for the new game modes that they brought in is Domination and Lone Wolf. And for Domination, it reminds me a lot of Call of Duty, of course, but it almost looks like it's a combination of chest capture and assassinate put together, because you're going to certain areas that you have to secure, you know, A, B, and C. You have to secure all those areas, but as soon as you get into those spots, you know, the compass just cancels itself out, so you won't be able to see any pursuers or any targets coming up close. And this is where assassinate comes in, where you have to identify and just, you know, target them so you can know who is your target and who's your, you know, pursuer. And Lone Wolf is kind of like Escort, where you're just fighting against AI units, but from the looks of it, there is no pursuers, so all you're doing is just getting kills, and you don't have to worry about running away from everyone, which is kind of good. So that way you won't have to worry about getting killed, but you'll have to worry about how to kill your targets. And characters can be customizable again, but this time there might be a lot more variety instead of just 3 things that you can just use for each character. Like, you only have 3 options to choose for a head or whatever, but you might have more than that. I don't really know because they haven't shown much about the multiplayer except for the trailer, which is awesome. And that's about it. So the game's about to end, and as you can see, I ended up with about 7,020 or whatever. But please feel free to subscribe and like the video and comment on it as well. And when the game comes out, I'll be posting a lot of gameplay, mostly the multiplayer, but I don't know about walkthroughs yet, but I'll be posting a lot about the multiplayer and some stuff on Black Ops 2 when that comes out as well. So like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.